Hi, today we will be talking about quadrilaterals and more specifically parallelograms. Quad means four, lateral means side. So a four-sided shape is called quadrilateral. Under quadrilateral we have parallelograms, trapezoids and kites. But today our focus would be parallelograms. Parallel. That means a parallelogram is a quadrilateral with both pairs of opposite sides parallel. So parallel is the key word here that we are looking for. If the opposite pairs of sides of a quadrilateral they are parallel, then it is a parallelogram. As you can see from this diagram, if I label it A, B, C, and D, I can say AB is parallel to CD and also AD is parallel to BC. We have these arrowhead signs that represents that the lines are parallel to each other. While learning parallelograms, we have to consider a few properties that will help us to identify whether the quadrilateral is a parallelogram or not. To name a few, we have four basic properties. In some books, they have mentioned five properties, but the fifth property is based on the first one only. So the opposite sides are parallel, as I discussed earlier. Also, the opposite sides are equal. So I said that AB is parallel to CD. Also, AB is also congruent to CD. Same thing will apply with the another opposite segment, that is AD. So AD is parallel to BC and AD is also congruent to BC. So that is first property. Second property, opposite angles are congruent. So opposite angles are congruent. So I can say angle A is congruent to angle C and angle B is congruent to angle D. Consecutive angles. Consecutive means one after another. So consecutive angles are supplementary. So when the consecutive angles are supplementary, you can see right in the diagram here. Angle A and angle B, they are consecutive to each other. So angle A plus angle B, they are supplementary. That means they add up to 180. The meaning of supplementary is they add up to 180 degree. These are not the only supplementary angles or consecutive angles. We can have other pairs of supplementary angles, just like angle B and C. After B, it is C. So B plus C will also be supplementary. Same thing goes with C and D. D comes after C. If I go from that route clockwise, C and D, they are also supplementary because they are consecutive. And D and A, they are also supplementary. The final property that we have to talk about is that the diagonals bisect each other. Now the bisect means they cut at midpoint, right? Bisect means two sections. So the diagonals, they bisect each other. That means they cut each other at the midpoint. Okay, so we just discussed about the properties of the parallelograms. Let's use them in these type of questions. So first question, I will solve it for you. Now the question that you have to solve on your own is this one. So just watch how I solve it. So in this particular case, they are asking about finding the values of x and y. And if you analyze this diagram, we have arrowheads on the segment JM and KL. That means JM is parallel to KL, first thing. Also, there is a single arrowhead on JK and LM. So JK is parallel to LM. And that is the first property of parallelogram, that they are congruent. It also says that they are parallel and congruent. So if they are parallel, they are congruent as well. I can safely say that y plus 3, which is Lm, will be equal to 18. Y plus 3 is equal to 18 because they are parallel and congruent. And using a one-step equation, subtracting 3 both sides, I can say y is nothing but 15. Let's find out what is x. Based on the properties of parallelogram, the opposite angles, they are also equal or congruent. So I can further say 2x degrees will be equal to 50 degrees. Dividing 2 both sides, x is nothing but 25 degrees. And you can also cross-check it. If you plug x, the value of x in 2x degrees, you will get 2 times 25, which is nothing but 50 degrees. So this is also a check. Based on this question, I want you to try question number 1. Another type of question that could be there for this particular chapter related to parallelograms is something like this. They are saying in a parallelogram PQRS, measurement of angle P is 4 times the measurement of angle Q. So before I try to handle this problem, the first thing would be to create or to sketch out a parallelogram and understand what they are trying to say. So if I PQRS, I have to follow the same pattern. So I can say PQRS. Now, P and Q, as you can see, they are one after another. So P and Q, they are forming a consecutive angle. So when the angles are consecutive, they are supplementary. So angle P is 4 times angle Q. I can start that. Let angle Q be x. So if angle Q is x, then the measurement of angle P would be 4 times x. And because these are consecutive angles, they are supplementary. Because they are supplementary, I can say measurement of angle P plus measurement of angle Q should be equal to 180 degrees. I want you to solve it on your own and let me know what is the answer. Please tell me what is the answer for angle P and angle Q both. We will take it as question number 2. The third type of question that we can see for the parallelograms is on the coordinate plane. So in this particular case, they have said that find the coordinates of the intersection of the diagonals of quadrilateral STUV and the vertices are given to you. Now, we know in the parallelogram, the diagonals, they bisect each other. And when the diagonals, they bisect, that means they are at midpoint. So midpoint will play a role in these type of questions. So we can find out the midpoints of the segment, but which segments? So S, T, U, V. Always start by sketching the quadrilateral so that you can figure it out which segments or which points you need to consider for finding the midpoint. And as you can see from this diagram, I need to find the midpoint of S, U and VT. Instead of finding out the midpoints of both of them, I can just find out the midpoint of S, U or TV, and that would be sufficient. So a little bit of recap, how to find out the midpoint. Midpoint is the average of X and average of Y. I know these averages, but before I try to answer my question, label them. Rewrite the coordinates again. -2 and 3. And for U, it will be 6 and 3. label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So after labeling it, when I plug these values in the midpoint formula, x1, x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2, I will get the coordinates as 2 and 3. That is what we are looking for. So the coordinates of the intersection are 2 and 3. And we are done with this problem. Based on this problem that I just solved for you, I have another question for you. Try this question on your own and let me know what you got. So question number 3 for you. Okay, I asked you to try question number 3. Let's solve it together. So in question number 3, they have just given you 3 coordinates. I don't know the fourth one, but I know that W, X, Y, and Z should look like a quadrilateral, right? But I don't know where it will fall. What are the coordinates? How it will be placed on the coordinate plane. To understand it better, we will follow few steps. These steps are: first, I will graph the vertices W, X, and Z. I graphed it on this graph paper, and you can see when I joined WX, and I can join W and Z as well. Right? Now, I am missing a coordinate Y. To find that coordinate, I need to use the principles of parallelogram, which says that the opposite sides are parallel. So if opposite sides are parallel, I can start with finding out the slope of Wx. So that is the main goal right here, to find the slope of Wx. For getting the slope of Wx, I need to use a slope formula, and the slope formula is rise over run. To do that part, I can say 2 minus -3 divided by -3 minus -1, because the coordinate here for W is -1, -3. Coordinate for X that is given to us is -3 and 2. I plugged it in rise over run, and this is what I will get as my slope, 5, 2, right, which is a -5 over 2. One thing you need to keep in mind that I wrote that I need a slope from W to X. So I will take the coordinates of W and then followed by X. So the coordinates of W will be x1, y1, and coordinates for X will be x2 and y2. Now I have a slope. If I follow this slope -5, 2, that means instead of going down, I can go up 5 points, and going backward, that means on the left hand side. I can follow the same path, start at Z. The Z coordinate is 4 and -4. I can go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and instead of going right, I will go left because I have a negative slope. So 1 and 2, I will land here. And that is the vertex we are looking for, which is vertex Y. And this is coordinate 2 and 1. Finally, I connected all the vertices together. So W with Z, Z with Y, and Y with X. And I have a perfect parallelogram right here. But are we done with this problem? Not yet. To just check whether my answer is correct or not, I will follow one another step. Right now, we follow the slope for Wx and Zy. To check our answer, I would appreciate if you can check whether the slopes of Yx